to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart, and I am here by my lonesome today. Tim is moving and shaking, and he couldn't be here, but he said to say hi. And while I'm talking about Tim, I want to remind everybody that on March 31st, oh boy, the time, 4 to 7, maybe not, I'm not sure, but at the LGBTQ Center, and we'll be announcing the time next week, and you can go to Tim's, of course, Facebook page. He is helping to launch a program on body mapping. It's actually an exhibit with 6 transgender artists that have body mapped themselves. I'm really excited to see this. I'm not really sure what body mapping is, but he's created this project with Cheryl Paley, who will be on my other show, TriVersity Talk, next week. She's going to be the guest. So, yeah, we're very excited about this. Also, the timing is perfect because it is also Transgender Day of Visibility. So, again, Tim's show will be at the LGBTQ Center on 13th Street. It will be running for 3 months. And please make sure you catch it. And the fabulous opening will be on March 31st. So many of you who follow me on social media probably saw that I've gotten behind our congressional candidate, Laura Dunn. She is running for Ralph Nader's seat in the 12th district. And we had a really great launch for her at Stonewall. It was a fundraiser, and Laura had some wonderful talent there who I had not met before, such as someone named Madam Gandhi. First of all, I love the name. Second of all, this woman was a really great rapper, and I just, I love discovering new talent. And speaking of Stonewall, we got to see a number of people like Pissy Miles at Stonewall the night before. Last night, it was St. Patrick's Day. And I'm half Irish, but I'm not the right half of Irish, I have to say. We are from the north of Ireland. And on St. Patrick's Day every year, my mother would make me wear orange. So you can imagine how good that went over in a neighborhood where everybody wore green. But you know what? Last night I had on my green shamrock ears, and I was having a grand old time and wishing everybody an Erin go bra. They say that. I really don't know what that means. Maybe it should be Erin goes braless. I have no idea. That was a terrible joke, but I have a really, by the way, entertaining guest coming on today. So I felt the need to tell a terrible joke to you, okay? But we had a great time, of course, at Julia's Bar. What a wonderful way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And also for those of you in New York City, I want to give a shout out. 2 years ago, we had the people that produced the Village Trip Festival in New York from late September into October. It actually runs almost 3 weeks. Maybe it runs 3 weeks, and it's happening all around the village. Pangea was involved. All of the village venues have people performing. We have people doing readings. We have people doing tours of the village, and we had like a meet and greet last night. I will be having them on the show probably late August, early September to tell you more about it. But, it was wonderful to kick it off with the Village Trip people last night. I have to tell you, there is always something going on, and I absolutely love it. So speaking of things going on, you will hear the song that my guest became very famous for, okay, that I knew back in the day. It was called Ariel, and I want to read the exact description of this song. Our guest entered pop consciousness with his top 20 hit, Ariel, a quirky, irresistible, and uncategorizable, love that, pop song about a free-spirited, pot-smoking, vegetarian Jewish girl in a peasant blouse. I'm like, maybe this song was about me. I don't know, but I'm Wendy, and I'm only half Jewish. Well, no matter how you slice it, please, we are so happy to have here today the songsmith of songsmiths, who is going to be appearing at the Triad Theater on March 28th. Okay, make sure you jot that down on your calendars. Put your hands together for Dean Friedman. Hi, Dean.
Hi, Wendy. Nice to be here. How's it going?
It's all good. Welcome to the show. Really, really great to have you. it's exciting that you're going to be at the Triad. You're going to be talking about your newest album, right? American Dreamer.
American Lullaby, and
American Lullaby. Where did I get Dreamer from? Jesus
well,
Christ.
from lullabies. It's a obvious connection. So
All right. Thank you, Dean, for taking mercy on my brain that has sieves in it. But yeah, American Lullaby. So you're launching, are you going to launch it at the Triad Theater?
well, it's been out for a little while, but I'll definitely be doing songs from that and throughout my, many decades career at this point. I just wanted to interject that it's an early show at the Tryout Theater, so it starts. I go on stage at 6:30 p.m. So just to let folks know.
I have to tell you, Dean, I'm there a lot. My friend Dorothy does a Dozen Divas show there. She's very funny. I have other friends that perform there. It's always like I get there at 6:30 to get a good seat for 7, but your show is actually starting at 6:30. So people need to get their doors open, what, 5:30?
Probably by 6 at the
Okay.
at the latest. And as I say, it's a lovely venue. Because I have a lot of songs to play, I needed a little extra time, so they let me start a little early. So I'm looking forward to it. I played there the first time last year. It was awesome, and looking forward to return.
No, that's really exciting. So I just want to go back along memory lane a little bit, okay? The song that I talked about, Ariel, that was a long time ago.
It came out this summer of 1977.
So I remember I was just getting out of college. Of course, I remember that song, and it spoke to so many of us because, like I said, I was that girl. I had a lot of girlfriends that were that girl also. So this was like you were in the very beginning of your career, yes?
Yeah, I was a kid. I just turned 21.
Yeah, that's
and it was it was a composite about all these teenage girls I had a crush on growing up in Paramus, New Jersey. And when it came out, we got a call from WNEW-FM complaining to the record company saying, look, tell Dean to stop having his friends call our request line because they're just burning up the phone lines. And I had to say, look, I don't have that many friends. And then that's when they realized that they actually had a national hit record, and it became the #1 requested song on WNEW-FM, which at the time was the #1 FM station in the country. So that sort of kicked off my erstwhile career.
But first of all, I remember that station. Wasn't Allison Steele on that station? The Nightbird?
It was the Nightbird, yeah, absolutely.
Allison Steele, the Nightbird, and then Dennis, what was his name? He was another big DJ because I got to meet him.
Dennis Selsa and Pete Fornatel.
Pete Fornatel.
Good crew.
You know what? Really good crew. And for you, how amazing to like start there. Really.
Well, it sort of launched me. I was a little potato in a big giant media stew.
Exactly. But there, there you were. So you're originally a Jersey boy, right?
Yeah, I grew up, born and bred in Paramus.
Paramus, New Jersey. Yeah, I know where that is on where all the stores are along there. What route is that?
It's the intersection of Route 4 and Route 17.
Got it. Right. That is
all the shopping centers there.
It's shopping center city, but you know what? You can get anything there. You grew up in you need to write a song. You can get anything. What do we have? That song, You Can Get Anything You Want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want in Paramus, New Jersey.
Well, you know what? I name check a lot of the places I grew up.
Wow.
And in that area. And a lot of like Tice's Farms, but that's disappeared. So I feel like my songs have become archaeological historical documents.
Well, I know, but you know what? You just brought up a really great point, Dean. If you don't mark them with the song, and bless you for doing that, things will disappear and no one will ask questions about them. When people go back in your chronological history and they'll see that you did a song on that, and, now everything, of course, is archived on YouTube. We didn't have YouTube back then, but now it is. Isn't that wonderful that the songs can live and be immortal on the computer. My God, we didn't even really have the computer then. I know we didn't have it. Well, we did have the computer, but it was very, very
Yeah,
basic.
no, it's been an amazing transformation. Absolutely.
Right. No, I know. And we've all really, really had to transform. So did you come from a musical family?
I did. My mom was a singer and a trained coloratura soprano, and she
Oh,
appeared on Broadway and film. And I grew up in a house filled with music. There was always some Broadway show tune on the piano and some aria playing on the record player.
I love it.
It was inevitable that music was going to be a part of my life.
Right. And were your parents excited that you had really such kismet early on in your career? Were they happy for it? Or they were like, Dean, you need to have something to fall back on?
Well, my mom was supportive of the idea, but she did say, as you suggest, make sure you have another way to make a living. And
Right.
that actually proved to be sage advice,
Right.
especially when I was kicked off my label for various infractions.
Wow. Wow. Well, listen, we know the music industry, it's not an easy one. I think you'll agree with me now. Now it's just ridiculous to me. I have had so many talented people on this show that are dropping things on Spotify left and right. And it's like a big bowl of soup now. And other than live performing, it does seem to be really difficult to, get a song on the charts to get to be heard, right?
Well, it's a very strange attention economy.
Right.
And at the same time, there are still some of the traditional gatekeepers in terms of mainstream media,
Yeah.
but it's become much more diversified, which means on one hand, it is a huge challenge. But on the other hand, there is access that exists now for an independent artist to reach an audience that was never feasible before.
Right.
There are other channels beyond the mainstream media and the mainstream, multinational conglomerate structure.
Right.
And it means navigating how to reach your audience in a different way. And it means having different expectations about what a successful career actually means.
So you just said a couple of very profound things. What kind of expectations do you think are realistic now versus when you started out?
Well, on the plus side, when I started out making records, you needed about at least $1 or $2 million to build a proper professional recording studio to be able to produce a quality album. And now, for about $1,000, you can get a laptop and a bunch of plugins, and you can pretty much achieve the same technological professionalism as you could 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So the price of entry has been lowered dramatically. And that's a nice thing. It means more musicians can record and make music.
Right.
And even the distribution mode for doing that becomes more accessible to more people.
Right.
Which is great.
No, you're outlining the positive things, and I totally agree with you. And so how do you think that works with performing live, using that as a component, going with the fact that you can produce your own music now?
Well, the challenge is still to find strategies for inviting people, making them aware of a live concert, and to inspire them to show up at the door to the gig,
Right.
like we're doing right now.
Right. Right. It is all about inspiration, and I have to tell you something. I've had a lot of women recording artists that around in the 70s, even from the punk days, right? That are still performing in a lot of the downtown venues here. And I've gotten behind them because, first of all, if they hadn't been recommended to come on my show, I had not heard of them. And I go to their shows. Their music is absolutely great, right? Blow away. And I like kind of being a town crier or saying to people, hey, did you hear about this one? Did you hear about that one? I do feel very much on the East Coast here with a lot of our cities, or in LA, we're blessed, to have venues, and you know this, that we can perform at. You've performed up in Woodstock too, right?
Yeah, just this past weekend, along with my buddy, brilliant singer-songwriter Vance Gilbert.
Yeah.
We played at the Colony up in Woodstock on Saturday, and the day before on Friday we played the Turning Point in Piermont across the river from me.
Right, and I know the Turning Point, but it really is a wonderful thing, because people that have not been exposed to your music can now come out and hear it, and that's amazing. But I want to go back to Ariel for a minute. So
Sure.
you started out, really on top. How did your career progress after that song? What was it like?
I would say bumpy would be an apt description.
What were the bumps in the way? Because for those of us who don't know about that, every musician I get on my show, everyone's got a different story. But what was your bumpy?
I would say that that what happened to me as a young recording artist in the mainstream music industry is almost a cliche in terms of what happens to a majority of artists, even artists that have some initial success, which is that it's an industry that sort of eats its young, and
Well put.
And it makes sense to sort of make hay while the sun shines.
Sure.
But there is a tendency to sort of exploit the artists without any real consideration for their lives and that experience.
Right.
And so, hold on, I just noticed that Sam Friedman is playing March 28th at the Triad Theater. Now, my son's name is Sam Friedman.
Oh, I love that.
I'm Dean. I'm his dad. Just to let you know, Cameron, that's okay.
Let's see.
Meanwhile,
I see he's got Dean Friedman on Instagram and deanfriedman.com. Yeah. Oh, the beauty of streaming, the things that we have to do. So yeah, you were talking about how they exploit young talent. That's something that hasn't changed at all. I've heard that from a number of people, not just musical people. So
just to give you sort of a very short version of it. After delivering 2 albums, both of which had chart hits on both sides of the pond, Ariel in the US and Lucky Stars and Lydia over in the UK, I was determined that I was ready to produce my own album, and also I wanted a little independence from the strictures I was under in terms of my management and my label. And these are really typical scenarios. And my management company one day told me I had to fire my guitar player. And I said, that makes no sense. And they said, oh, well, he's creating an insurrection with the band because we did a TV show. And the TV show wanted management to cover the on-air fees that the musician union requires. And they wanted to claw back those television fees from the musicians' salaries. I said, that's ridiculous.
Right.
And that's not fair. It's probably not even illegal. It's probably not even legal. But they insisted, and they said if I didn't fire my guitar player, that they would no longer manage me. And I refused.
Good for you for having a spine and standing your ground and protecting your own is all I can say.
Well, the result was that not only did they drop my management contract, they forced me into a negotiation to pay them like $50,000 to get out of it,
And you had to get a
and they had me
lawyer.
blacklisted. They had me blacklisted on New York radio, and this was confirmed to me by several people in radio.
Disgraceful.
So that, for example, whereas Ariel was the #1 requested song on WNEW-FM the summer before, when my second album came out, it didn't get a single airplay. The record company said to me, "Dean, we're really disappointed. We hate your record, the second album." Now, I was really proud of it. I knew I'd done a good job. Fortunately, about a week after they lectured me about what a terrible, spoiled artist I'd become, the second album, a single off it called Lucky Stars, entered the charts and raced to #3, to the top of the charts, and became a huge classic hit,
Wow.
which still gets enormous airplay to this day.
Yeah.
The point simply being that both my management company and my record company felt that somehow I worked for them, that I was an employee of theirs, instead of it being a collaboration. And as a result, they tried to force me to do things that I felt were not appropriate, and not fair, and not just. And because I fought back, I was punished by being ostracized, dropped, and blacklisted. Now, I persisted, and I have really no regrets about the decisions that I made. It led me on an alternate path, but one that I appreciate and I'm grateful for. It led me to the kind of independence that I really value.
Right.
Because there are artists that sort of came up around the time that I did that didn't acquire that kind of independence. And now they might want to do a 40-city tour all over the United Kingdom and Ireland, but they can't. They never developed the skill set to do that, to do what independent artists do today.
Yeah, you were forced to do early on. That is such manipulative power they have over the artists. So I'm going to ask a naive question, right? That I'm sure people are thinking about. How do some of the, popular performers that have been around forever, how do you think they got around that? Did they make more money and could hire better lawyers? You know what I'm saying? If you had 4 hits in and tremendous amounts of money and you could have hired lawyers to sue them, what is there a strategy so that you can fight back when they try and blacklist you?
I have to say the answer is no.
Paul
McCartney never got his copyrights back from when Michael Jackson went and bought them.
No, you're absolutely.
Prince never won his lawsuit, which caused him to become the artist formerly known as Prince.
Right.
And George Michaels never got his music back, nor did Michael Jackson. These are major, multi-billion-dollar multinational
absolutely.
They're huge war chests and lawyers, and it's not just the record labels, but the current state of law and copyright law in not just the United States but worldwide it still has a profound bias towards the industry. So even if you have a fair fight and a fair claim and a just claim in a lawsuit, there's a likelihood you're going to lose because the legal precedents and the attorneys and the judges, even the attorneys defending you, their mindset has been established by an industry that really is unjust when it comes to the rights of the artist.
Right.
That's slowly changing, but it's taking forever.
It is taking forever. But don't you think the onset of artists being able to produce their own music, have their own label, and that's all part of the change on the horizon, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I, referenced as one of the most important benefits is that kind of independence, to be able to control your copyrights.
Yeah.
To be able to make decisions about your career and how you spend your time.
No, exactly. Exactly. You make
the scenario of young artists getting signed, having hit records, and then spending months after months after months after months on the road, back in the studio, back on the road, and then mysteriously winding up with health problems or addiction
Right.
problems.
Right.
It's not a mystery. It's because they were used as more product than as people,
Then as a
and
human being.
individuals with lives.
Right.
So even not having, the trade-off is that you might not have access to the loudest megaphone, but you have precious control over your own career and your fate
Right.
and how you spend your time.
Yeah, and how you spend your time, and your time is valuable. Okay, so all of a sudden, you had these two songs, and then you find yourself not getting airplay, being turned against. What was your next move?
Uh, well, my third album came out, and this was after hits in the States and hits in the United Kingdom. It was called Rumpled Romeo, and there was a song called McDonald's Girl. And it was McDonald's Girl was a sweet, endearing, pure pop song about the girl that works behind the counter at McDonald's.
Sure.
And I knew it was a hit no matter what. But frustratingly, in England, where it was first released, they had strict rules against anything that smacked of commercialism, of hinting to a brand name.
You mentioned McDonald's. God.
Oh, for example, Paul Simon's Kodachrome was banned for mentioning the Kodak product. The Kinks, their song Lola.
I love that song. That's the greatest
great song, classic.
Yeah.
But they had to change the lyric from Coca-Cola
to
Cherry Cola.
Right, to cherry.
Right.
That's, oh my God. You are a treasure trove of history here. Yeah.
Well, when my song McDonald's Girl came out, it was officially banned by the BBC. Me and the Sex Pistols. So it was frustrating, and it resulted to my being dropped by, at the time, Epic, which became Sony Records.
Right.
And I was sort of abandoned into the wilderness and exiled from the music business.
So then what, this is really interesting, okay? Because you're going to be at the Triad, you're performing all over. Look at this history, which, by the way, is not so unusual. I've heard it from people that are composers and everything else. This is like the dirty underbelly, right, of what happened.
It's par for the business.
Par for the course. So, okay. So what's your next move then? Okay. Now you've been dropped by Epic.
Well, I, it was kind of frustrating, but there I was with nothing to do for a whole summer. Amazingly, I met the woman who became my wife, and we've been married now coming on 46 years.
So you see, the universe works in ways that you don't even expect it, because if you had been doing your music thing, you wouldn't have been around to meet her.
Absolutely. And I am always grateful for that. In the meantime, not long after McDonald's Girl was banned and I was dropped by my label, a then unknown group out of Canada with the unlikely name of Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh my God.
They did a cover version of McDonald's Girl, which became their first airplay hit in Canada.
Wow.
And not long after that, a group in the States called the Blenders did a cover, which went to #1 in Norway, of all places. And then YouTube came along. And suddenly, McDonald's Girl went viral all over the world. There are videos on almost every continent of people doing their own versions of McDonald's Girl or lip syncing to it. So it made me really proud of the song, because it was a little song that it insisted on being.
You have such an international following, I mean, look at this, because they tried to stop you here, and then they tried to stop you in the UK. And you know what? I always believe real talent prevails as long as you just got to keep going. That's why I keep asking you, so what was your next move? What was your next move? Because, if you drop out, guess what? You're not going to get anywhere. But you kept going. Look at that,
Well, and again, I got to give credit to the song, which was just very persistent. Folks ask, do you have a favorite song? And my answer is always, songs are like little kids.
Yeah, they
love
are.
them all, and some are better behaved than others, and some are full of mischief. But the funny thing about McDonald's Girl is that it just kept getting out there, and then once it was going viral on YouTube, there were a cappella groups in colleges, all the Ivy League colleges.
Amazing, right.
Yale and Harvard and Columbia, their a cappella groups did their own versions of McDonald's Girl. You can find them all on YouTube. They're hilarious. But for some strange reason, every time someone covered McDonald's Girl, they would change her age. Because in the original song, the lyric is she's 15 years old. Well, when the Blenders covered it, the record executive, A&R guy, called and said, "Dean, we'd like to make some changes to the lyric, if that's okay." And I said, "Well, what did you have in mind?" He goes, "Well, we think 15 is too young. We'd like to make her 16. And I said, "Okay, what else?" And he goes, "Well, there's a line where you refer to her as a virgin." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, we'd like to change that as well." This was an actual conversation with the record label executive. And so I said to him, "Look, just so I understand what it is you're asking me here, instead of the song as is being about a sweet, innocent 15-year-old virgin, you want it to be about a 16-year-old slut?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Fine, okay, that's okay." But then, as I said, all these college a cappella groups started covering McDonald's Girl when she turned 17.
She just kept getting older.
She kept getting older.
It wasn't legal.
And then high school groups. I'm talking about high school groups all over America with marching bands and baton twirlers and cheerleaders. And she turned 18. Now I got to believe she's somewhere in her mid-30s. But hopefully she's got a management position by now.
Right. McDonald's Girl, middle-aged housewife, soon to come.
Absolutely. So meanwhile, Wendy, I wrote this song in 1980. It came out within that year. 33 years later, I finally get a phone call from corporate headquarters of McDonald's. And this executive at McDonald's says, "Mr. Friedman, we're pleased to say we'd like to license your song, McDonald's Girl, for a national TV and radio campaign." And I said, "That is awesome. What took you so fucking long?" And then he said, "We'd just like to make a little change to the lyric."
That seems to be a running theme.
How old could she possibly be? He said, "No, the age is not the problem." And what he explained was that McDonald's took exception to my referring to her as being an angel in a polyester uniform.
You used the word polyester?
They didn't like me using the word polyester.
Hilarious.
Now, I was a little surprised by that because I figured that's a key ingredient in their hamburgers. But in any case, if you do check out this commercial, it's on YouTube. Just type in McDonald's Girl commercial. The Blenders are singing it, and add my name, and it'll pop up. It's a really cute 30-second spot.
But that's so cool. Look at what that song transcended decades. Really amazing.
Absolutely, yeah, and it helped pay a part of the mortgage.
Right.
And but she's no longer an angel in a polyester uniform. She's an angel now in a Golden Arches uniform, but she's still an angel.
She's an angel, but they're still putting bad ingredients like polyester in their burgers, as you said. So there you have it. I want to see if Cameron could find the song Ariel and play it for us. I let him know at the 11th hour because I want to play 2 songs for you here today.
Sure.
You have great history about these songs. I want people to hear it. All right. Hopefully Cameron found
Hudson, deep in the bosom of suburbia. I met a young girl, she sang mighty fine, tears on my pillow and Ave Maria. Standing by the waterfall in Paramus Park, she was working for the Friends of BAI. She was collecting the waters in a paper cup. She was looking for change, and so was I. She was a Jewish girl, I fell in love with her. She wrote her number on the back of my hand. I called her up, I was all out of breath. I said, come hear me playing my rock and roll band. I took a shower and I put on my best blue jeans. I picked her up in my new VW van. She wore a peasant blouse with nothing underneath. I said hi, she said, yeah, I guess I am. We had a little time, we were real hungry. We went to Dairy Queen for something to eat. She had some onion rings, she had a pickle. She forgot to tell me that she didn't eat meat. I had a gig in the American Legion Hall. It was a dance for the volunteer ambulance corps. She was sitting in a corner against the wall. She would smile and I melted all over the floor. Took her home with me, we watched TV, a net cello and some guy going steady. I started fooling around with the vertical hold. We got the munchies and I made some spaghetti. We sat and we talked into the night while Channel 2 was signing off the air. I found the softness of the mouth. We made love to bombs bursting in side of the Hudson, deep in the bosom of suburbia. I met a young girl, she sang mighty fine. Tears on my pillow and Ave Maria. Tears on my pillow and Ave Maria. Tears on my pillow and Ave Maria.
I'm so happy we played this because I have to tell you, I remember singing along to this song, but looking at it and seeing the images, this song is as American as apple pie, from the visuals to the lyrics to even your voice on it. Has anyone tried to option this for a movie?
Not yet, but I'm patient.
Yeah, it is. It is honestly, I hate using this word, a perfect product for that. It really is. How did you go about choosing the images that you used in this?
Well, I confess, someone who I've never met took the recording and created that video.
It is really, really wonderful. First of all, the lyrics are incredible, but when things come together, right? When it becomes a symbiotic thing, but the
It
images,
did a great job.
The whole thing is just, it's a wonderful, wonderful piece, Dean, really. And I'm so happy that we got to show it here today, that people got to see it. So I'm going to get back to, we're moving right along in your life. Dean Friedman, this is your life. You met the woman of your dreams, but you're still performing. Am I correct? Or did we veer off on another life path at this point?
Well, I found myself, as I say, evicted from the music industry. But I never stopped being a musician and never stopped writing songs.
Right.
And I always retained an interest and a fascination with all the tools of music and the instruments. And I had seen an example of what at the time was the top synthesizer in the world, something called the synclavier. And it was the most powerful synthesizer on the market. It cost $50,000. I couldn't afford to buy one. So I went to the North American distributor offices in New York City to see if I could rent some time. And the guy who ran the office was a wonderful songwriter, a musician named David Nichtern. And you'll probably recall, David wrote a song that was a hit by Maria Moldauer called Midnight on the Oasis.
Oh my God, Midnight at the Oasis. God, we love that. Great. Wow.
Beautiful classic song.
Yeah.
And David was kind enough to allow me to rent time once a week for an hour on the synclavier so that I could learn it and study it and become well-versed on it, which I did. But during the process of it, someone called from a book company, Music Sales, looking for someone to write a book on the new synthesizers. And someone said, well, Dean seems to know a lot about synthesizers. And they put me on the phone, and I somehow talked my way into a book deal with Music Sales to write what became the first consumer guide for synthesizers, and a book called Synthesizer Basics. Now, as I say, I was pretty brand new in the field, but because I came to it as a beginner and a novice, I was able to describe everything I was learning in very simple layman's terms. And the book became a bestseller at music stores all over the United States. And so that launched me into a whole nother direction, but still within the world of music.
Right.
And so for a while, I became a synthesizer expert and got to review and write books and articles about all the new synthesizers and drum machines and sequencers. It was great fun, very exciting. As I was reviewing these instruments, every day a FedEx truck would pull up with a new synthesizer, and I could barely read through the manuals.
Right, just amazing. But what you're sharing here is when the day you chose your own path, right? The day you turned to your label and the people that were pushing you to do things that you in your heart of hearts knew you didn't want to do and said, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. You forged your own path and look at where it led you.
It did lead me in a direction to do things that I never in a million years would have done otherwise.
You couldn't have thought about them, though. You know what I'm saying? You had to get off the road you were on. And we talk about this kind of stuff on the show a lot. I'm a firm believer because people constantly try and make stuff happen in their lives. I am so guilty of that. And I have to remind myself, guess what? You need to get that out of your head and allow the things that are supposed to happen, right? If your intention is good and your intention was good, just let it happen. I mean, come on. Who could have ever thought that would have happened for you? Now, somewhere along the way too, and I don't know where this is on your path, but you became like an inventor. I found this on your website. You came up with a sneaker car.
Well, that yes, I started with a sneaker car, but I'll preface it by saying that one of the trajectories that all the synthesizer books led me to was discovering the world of virtual reality. because as I was doing trade shows and writing about synthesizers and electronic music, I stumbled upon an early form of virtual reality, camera-based VR. People are familiar with the Kinect box, where you stand in front of a TV, a camera, and you see yourself and you interact with others.
Of course, right.
Well, I saw an exhibit of that very early on, 20 years before Microsoft ever did it, in the mid-'80s. And I bought a developer kit because it was fun, and I explored it, and I thought it was really cool. And in 1989, I designed a video game called Eat a Bug, which put kids inside a video game to grab bugs and avoid insects. And I licensed it.
Come on, that's really funny.
I licensed it to Nickelodeon Television. Exactly. Well, I licensed it to Nickelodeon Television. And it was the first virtual reality video game on national TV. And I did it for Fuji Television in Japan. And for a period of years, I was designing virtual reality video games for major theme parks, children's museums, and science museums all over the world.
But that is huge. That's like a whole. So and I know some well-known game virtual designers out there. And there you are. You're one of them on top of everything else that you do. I mean, come on, that's really, really amazing. How cool to have taken that direction.
And it never would have happened if it hadn't been dropped by my label.
Right. Those are the T-shirts. You need to sell them at your concerts. None of this would have happened unless I was dropped by my label. No, it's good because it really tells people that, like, if it doesn't feel right, don't go along with it, right? What is that saying? To thine own self be true. Now, I'm
not saying it was easy. It was always a challenge.
You had a lot of hiccups, I'm sure.
But at the same time, it led me to do things that I'm really proud of. That, as I said, I never would have had an opportunity to do.
Right. So I want to play American Lullaby, right? Because that's your latest and greatest. And then I really, just by the titles of the songs on that, I do want to talk to you about the meaning behind it. It's very relevant for the times that we're in. So Cameron, take it away. American.
Don't you fret now, don't you cry. It's an American lullaby. Manifest destiny's a lie. It's an American lullaby. Half moon sailing through the night. Crack of a musket fired, first light. Always keep your powder dry. It's an American lullaby. Rest your head in dreams, you'll fly. It's an American lullaby. Blaze a trail across the sky. It's an American lullaby. Drinking gourd will point the way. Stealth by night and sleep by day. Beg like Joe, you can rely. It's an American lullaby. your fist and dry your eye. It's an American lullaby. Judgment served from up on high. It's an American lullaby. One fine night in paradise, God of thunder rolls the dice. 1,000 rounds light up the sky. It's an American lullaby. Restless dreams we shall defy, but TV pundits prophesy. Best laid plans have gone awry. It's an American lullaby. He said, I cannot tell a lie. Cross my heart and hope to die. Still won't look you in the eye. It's an American lullaby.
Wow. Wow. And we fade out, Dean, because we only show a couple minutes, but my God, this is such an important piece for now. Quite an incredible song, and the images that go with it speaks the truth of everything that's going on now.
Well, we have a complicated history. And
yes,
unfortunately, we're reliving it right now.
We are reliving our history right now. I never thought I'd be saying that, though. And it frustrates me. It really frustrates me because it did not have to go in this direction. The lyrics, of course, are incredible. You have a way with words. No wonder they call you a wordsmith. But those, again, the images, and here we are X amount of years later, the images that go with your words, your work really lends itself to that. You know, I believe in the creative world being able to reach people out there and change their minds. I really do believe that. I believe that that is a better form of communication than trying to shove your politics down somebody's throat when they're not listening. You know, the words and the images on this just get right to you, and they really get your wheels turning and thinking.
Well, the musicians, the songwriters that I most admired starting out were folks like Joni Mitchell, Randy Newman, Bernie Taupin, and Elton John, James Taylor. And what they all had in common was they managed to marry their words and music in a way that conjured up very visual imagery, almost of a cinematic quality.
Right.
Where you could picture the story that was being told. And that's something I always admired and ever since have aspired to do myself when I'm writing a song, is to create a universe to invite the listener in and make them almost a co-conspirator, a collaborator.
Right.
If you will.
Do you agree that it is probably the best way to reach people? Because we are now, you know, people's opinions are changing now. And we were in a really horrible direction. I'm not going to say that we're not still in that direction, but I personally feel, and I'm out there and I talk to a lot of people and I get a lot of buzz in terms of news from all over the country. Do you think that maybe we are going to turn a corner now in a positive direction?
I'm an eternal optimist and I'm hopeful. I'm not naive about what's happened and what is still in our future. But I do feel like the fever is about to break, and the pendulum will start to swing back.
Good. You know what? I feel that too. I'm excited. Every place that you have played American Lullaby? What has been the audience reaction?
It's always gotten a very strong positive response.
Great.
It's a difficult tune. It deals with the 400 years of America's violent
That's right.
history.
You laid
And
it
I
all
love
out
my
there.
country. I'm proud of America and of the virtues that it holds to be true, but doesn't always practice.
Right.
And so, but if you're not honest about your history and your past and who you are, then you're really doomed to repeat the worst mistakes, which is happening right now, not far
Right,
from here.
because you
But
use the word honest. If you don't use the word honest, right, and you tell lies and people believe those lies and then attack other people using those lies, right, then nobody knows what truth is anymore. And that's what we're dealing with now. I mean, it really, and I have to say the internet has not helped the matter any. Social media is like, whoa. I get a bombardment of news every morning. And the reason I do that, I take everything from both sides. And there's a reason I do that. I need to know what the people that do not agree with me, what I want to know what they're thinking and why they're thinking
sure.
it. And I see a lot of like people just taking stuff that is spoon fed to them, and there's no questioning, and it's perfectly okay because they will rationalize it in their head. I don't know what the answer is, but you know what? As an artist, bless you, you are certainly doing your part. And I want to tell you that. I have some comments too. I like to always read the comments on here. Cameron,
Sure.
can you blow them up for me because I'm like blind as a bat? Thank you. Suze Valves Genero, wonderful designer, amazing human being, is watching from Boston. Thank you, Suze. And Suze, of course, remembers that song. I have to tell you, tons of people today, I'm sure, remembered that song. Benji Bradshaw, amazing performer. Let's go. Thank you, Benji. Benji loves the braless. Benji is an incredible performer with outfits to go with it. The whole presentation. I know he's got something coming up in Brooklyn because I just got it on Instagram. And Rose Trentman, we talked about the 31st is going to be there. Rose was a boxing commissioner. Don't mess with her now. She still knows how to box. Of course, she loved the song Ariel. She said, great song. And oh my God, Jim Williams. Hey, Queens. I love Jim, who's out in San Francisco. Incredible artist. Hey, Queens, I'm proud of America, just not Trump. Right. That's what this song was about, though, being proud of America, and maybe it's going to take the artists to open up people's eyes, right? Maybe it's the artists, the optimists. I'm right there with you, Dean. I'm a Capricorn. The glass is always half full in my world, and I see the world in rose-colored glasses. Best way to see them, by the way. Really great stuff. I can't believe we're almost to the end of our segment. I do have a story I need for you to share with my audience. So the tour that was almost canceled, that was sponsored by Golden Seeds, could you share that with us? It was kind of funny.
Sure. In I think 2005, I put out an album called Squirrels in the Attic, all comedy songs for adults. And one of the songs was called Doint Doint. It's just a little joint about, it was a fond, affectionate ode to my favorite herb.
Cannabis, yeah.
And as I was preparing to tour, I reached out to cannabis seed distributors all over Europe, because at the time it was legal to possess cannabis seeds as long as they didn't get wet and germinate.
Okay.
And one of them said, oh yeah, we'll sponsor your tour and we'll contribute 1,000 packets of cannabis seeds so you can give out to the first 10 people that buy CDs at each gig. In fact, I might even have one right behind me.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, here comes a packet of cannabis seeds. Damn, people are going to be writing me. They're going to want me to give them away that if they watch the show today. That is really fun.
They sent me 1,000 packets. And I did a press release and announced this right before a 40-city UK tour. Within 24 hours, every venue except for one up in Scotland canceled the tour, complaining, oh, we can't possibly distribute cannabis seeds at our venue. So I had to spend the next week reconstituting the tour and assuring them I wouldn't distribute on the premise. Although I argued with them, I said, look, you make most of your money selling alcohol to your patrons
Right.
during the interval, and you send them home drunk. These
Right.
cannabis seeds, they're not going to even be able to harvest for 6 months.
Right.
And by then, your audience is going to
it's
be
a brilliant
well on their way
promotion.
to a safer place. Anyway, they didn't buy it. But it did teach me the value of a well-worded press release, because the venues that protested the most got the most press, and I sold the most tickets.
And there you go. There you go. My gosh, and by the way, I don't think that's a bad idea to do going forward. I always have artists say to me, we're trying to sell tickets, our ticket sale, we got to get more ticket sales and stuff. And I'm thinking, my God, maybe if people were giving away gummies and cannabis seeds and, you're right. They sell beer at venues. What is wrong with us? This is and nobody's been onto this yet. Right. But we have all these shops that are popping up selling GB. What is it again? I never say it right.
CBD.
CBD. Thank you.
Yeah.
CBD and all this. I know I'm thinking of GB, the thing that you inject to lose weight. I got too many letters in my head. But think about it, right? This is
it all works.
It's a great marketing ploy. You have been a fabulous guest. I loved having you on here. I want to give a shout out to Ann Layton Media, who gets in touch with me and says, hey, I have someone that would be great for your show. Thank you, Ann. You have amazing taste. And I want to get a picture. So, yeah, I like to take them on the screen. Take a couple. Dean, thank you so much. I will make sure that Ann gets the link for today. It's a hot link. You will have it forever and a day. It will live on the internet in perpetuity on Wendy Stuart TV, my YouTube channel. And once I send it to you, it will live on your YouTube channel. Isn't that a beautiful thing that we give life to our links?
Absolutely. And Wendy, it's a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for having me. And for your audience, wish you all the best. And again, a reminder that the gig on Saturday the 28th at the Triad Theater, it's an early gig. It starts at 6:30 p.m. and you can get tickets on my website and at the Triad website.
Right. And one more thing. Okay. You mentioned your website. First, I have to share with my audience, I never saw a website like this. I'm like, but it's really very unique and very Dean. If you go to Dean's website, I printed it out. I'm like, this is like so cool. And then you can go on each thing and click on it. And then he also has, I don't know if you can see it. There is a sidebar on it, but you know what? It's chock full of stuff, and it's fun.
Well,
and that's what we
want.
want.
That's good to hear.
We want to, we want to have fun. Thank you, Dean. And thank you to everyone who tuned in today. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.